Okay, so the second wiki that I'm going to be doing is about creativity in schools. I'd like to start with a quote from Confucius, which I found really interesting, which is, "I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, and I do, I understand." I'm going to start off as well with Kraft from 2001 said that the learner's inclusive pedagogy involves giving the child many choices and a great deal of control over what is explored and how. It is essentially learner-centred. For me, that's the idea of creativity in schools. It's not what you're doing so much as a teacher, but it's how the learners portray the work. A barrier to learning should not stop you from creating something that you visualise. It may make your path change, but in the end, using your creativity will help you reach what you have seen. There is a growing acceptance that creativity is not simply about coming up with a big idea, but coming up with a practical solution to an everyday problem, and then applying it to a real life situation. Creativity can be readily associated with a wide range of everyday tasks and activities, which is obviously classes, the schoolwork, homework, anything in the classroom. And the importance of creativity at a personal level is often greatly underestimated. The area that I want to centre around really is Ken Robinson's argument that our schools killing creativity, because that's one bit that I've looked into that I found really, really interesting. He argues that creativity is important in education as is literacy, and that it should be treated with the same status. And furthermore, he states that children should have the ability to take chances without the worry of being wrong. Children having that in their body, that they don't think that being wrong is a bad thing, is absolutely key to their early learning, I believe. Because if you're not prepared to be wrong, you're not really prepared to be creative. The mistakes that are apparent now in worldwide, even if you're in a job, actually just making a mistake in work could be really, really bad for keeping that job. So the pressure on making mistakes is it's risen over the past few years, especially risen hugely from when you were a child. By the time we reach our adulthood, we've lost the capacity to work on probability and wanting to be right at all costs. We get educated out of creativity due to mistakes being forced out of us, I believe. But for this to happen, the mistakes that could have shown promise are now non-existent. So a mistake that could have happened in work or in school, anything that could have come from that mistake is now non-existent, because people are worried about making that mistake in the first place, so don't even take that chance. What we enjoyed and what we were sometimes good at in school, we usually forced out of us for more academic subjects. So a lot of my peers especially, were drama, music, any of the arts, PE. PE's grown over the past few years, but arts are usually down in the hierarchy of subjects in primary schools. So there could have been some fantastic musicians or dancers that may have never found their talent because they haven't had enough opportunity to do it in their schools. And I believe our jobs as teachers is to make something of the children of today, to help them progress in an area they may excel that they didn't realise they could access into. And to conclude, I believe creativity is apparent in every individual. Some learn and express themselves in a way that the schools and education deem unacceptable, but we as teachers need to find a way into which allows children to express their ideas in their own unique way. At first it may be difficult to do so. When we as teachers have had our creativity taught out of us from an early age, we've got to think back now to what we enjoyed in primary school, what we're going to learn, and what we're going to teach to children in our schools and our classrooms. But we had a bit of a hindrance because our teachers have forced that out of us, because even now that I've thought taking a risk is may not be worth it, or just playing it safe, but taking a risk in the classroom may be a good thing for the children's progress and learning. If this is the case that it's been taught out of us, we would have an issue engaging the minds of the children from our perspective, and we would need to start thinking out of the box to create ideas to further the progress of the children in our classroom. Thank you.